I wanted to make this video about living under surveillance in a psychiatrically controlled state, which has been my struggle for the last 15 years. Now, unfortunately, there's been some developments that apparently have made it so the surveillance that I live under is undeniably obvious to the people that I share this small town with. Now, to the people that live in this small town, I did not intend, when I moved to your small town, our small town, this was not my intention. I did not intend for a standoff with the RCMP to happen. I didn't intend for the surveillance that has been part of the daily struggle of my life to become abundantly obviously clear to everyone, but that's what appears to have happened. And I would be foolish to not take this moment to at least capitalize on this opportunity to make it abundantly clear to the people in small town Canada and to the people in Canada in general, the level of criminality that we're dealing with from our government. Now, I'm going to explain to you how I understand how this stuff works. There's 3 levels of information in the intelligence community. There's secure, secret, and top secret. Now, to the average beat cop on the street, they have access to the lowest tier of this 3-tiered information system, the secure information. But people that are going to get into your secret and your top secret information, the way that it works in Canada anyways, is that these people are generally involved and compromised either in heavy drug usage like cocaine, methamphetamine, or a proclivity towards children. And that's the reality of the type of people that work in these surveillance teams, is they're drug addicts and pedophiles. And that's the big thing with the Pizzagate and all this stuff, is that the Canadian government is far more corrupt than the American government. Because in the American government, there is a lot more average people like you and me that believe in a right and wrong. They have a good moral compass. They know the difference between good and evil. And in Canada, it doesn't work like that. In Canada, it's who's ever in charge is the person that they take orders from. And that's why this type of corruption is very easy to take place in this country. So I took a minute. I tried to have a little bit of a better lighting setup here. You know, it's kind of making me half blind, but I decided this is probably one that's going to go around and make its ways around the internet. And so be it, you know. But the simple fact is the people that are interfering and doing this surveillance, they're drug addicts and pedophiles. And they have security clearances from the government to fucking monitor people like me. And, you know, it's kind of funny because for the longest time in downtown Toronto, when I experienced this type of thing, I just had to keep my cool about it and pretend like it wasn't going on while knowing it was going on. But I'm glad that somebody wanted to take a moment and ask me about like why the hell this level of thing is going on. Because at the end of the day, what is it that's said about me on the internet that led up to this standoff? Well, apparently, according to the internet, I was walking around Dinsmore with an airsoft rifle threatening people. That's not true. You know, I never threatened anyone. And that's, you know, I have to stress this. I never threatened anyone. All I pointed out is that the government is run by criminals, and that as the people of Canada, we need to be aware that our government and our security apparatus is run by criminals, and we ought to do something to prevent it, right? Now, I didn't say what that something is, and I don't believe that violence is the way to deal with it. I think to do something about it is we ought to talk about it, right? We ought to talk about why this level of surveillance is needed for a random person that's just trying to make videos in their basement, just expressing their point of view. Now, I want to take a minute to shout out DLive. DLive recently gave me affiliate status, which is pretty cool. And I look forward whenever, you know, I get my laptop and Wi-Fi router back from the RCMP to be able to broadcast on DLive, playing my Conflict of Nations video game and just doing commentary with the people that I've built relationships with on the internet over the last 10 or 15 years. And, I just want to be able to live in peace and make my broadcasts and say my opinion. And very clearly, my opinion, which has been consistently broadcast over this YouTube channel and over my DLive channel whenever I get access to it, my opinion is nonviolence. My opinion is about like talking it out. I got love, right? You got to live in love, right? This is what I believe in. And I believe in open dialogue and open communication. So if there's anyone from the RCMP or like a detective that wants to just sit down and talk turkey with me, my door is open. You have my telephone number. But your surveillance team is very clearly harassing the people in this town now. And it's becoming a problem. And so I don't know why you can't, well, I mean, obviously I know why you can't control the people that you have working surveillance, because a big portion of you are drug addicts and pedophiles. And, I understand that you guys are scared shitless that the public is eventually going to wake up to the fact that you're drug addicts and pedophiles and do something about it. And, that day is coming. And, I'm just one voice, but I'm not the only voice that knows that you're drug addicts and pedophiles. The whole country knows that you're drug addicts and pedophiles. And we're sick of your shit. Okay? We're sick of the shit that you're doing. And so you keep, doing whatever it is you're doing, and you think you're going to keep getting away with it. And as I kept warning you, you're not going to keep getting away with it, because people in this part of the country that I relocated to are not idiots. And that's one thing that I respect a hell of a lot about people that live in Western Canada. People that live in Western Canada, they have good sense. They're able to put two and two together. They're able to go, hey, wait a minute, So let me make this abundantly clear to the pedophiles and drug addicts that work for the Canadian government. You can run, but you cannot hide. You can try and threaten and intimidate me, and I will not be afraid. I will not be frightened. So, you guys have taken my entire 20s from me. You've taken a big chunk of my 30s from me, but no more, okay? So stop harassing me, okay? Give me back my laptop and my Wi-Fi router so I can broadcast peacefully from my basement and say my piece, as is my right, as is the right of every single Canadian citizen. If they want to make themselves a public spectacle and say a bunch of things on the internet that may or may not be true, that's everybody's right in this country. And for you guys to keep interfering with me because you're scared that eventually people are going to start believing what I'm saying because it becomes undeniably true, you keep exposing yourselves. And I keep trying to explain this to you, that you just should leave me alone. And you're not leaving me alone. So what's going to end up happening is what I've been warning you is going to happen. The public is going to wake up to what you're doing, and they're not going to tolerate it, right? They're not all, Tom Zog with airsoft guns, right? The people in Western Canada are smart people, and I don't think they're going to keep putting up with this shit once it's becoming abundantly clear. And so I'm telling you, stop surveilling me. Give me back my shit so I can do my thing. It's real simple, because I can exist as a broadcaster. I can make a living as a broadcaster. I don't want to have to live on social assistance, but this is what you've backed me into. And you guys keep backing me into this corner. And what am I going to do? Well, I'm just going to keep opening my big mouth. That's all I'm going to keep doing, is opening my big mouth, pointing out how corrupt the government is, how corrupt your whole system is, right? And this is the problem that I want every single person that has a security clearance in this country that is not a drug addict or a pedophile to be aware of. I know that Cameron Ortiz was controlled by the Chinese government because he was into child pornography. How do I know that? Because that's how the Chinese control all of the people in North American intelligence. That's how they control all of those people, is through child pornography. And I know a lot of you are into child pornography. So for the people that aren't into child pornography, that have a security clearance, you need to start cleaning house on your side of the street, because there is so much garbage on your side of the street. It's impossible for the general public to tell who is corrupt and who is not corrupt. It's becoming more clear that the whole system is filled with corrupt people. And so if you're an upstanding person that's on that side of the street, we need to start seeing arrests, like serious arrests, not just Cameron Ortiz, okay? But like lots. Like I have a treason case, and it's laid out on this YouTube channel about how 209 members of the federal government are guilty of treason. Are you guys going to do anything about that? You know? Or am I just some guy in his basement that doesn't know right from wrong, right? Because what's the difference between me and a judge, right? Well, a judge is somebody that sits in a black dress on a big high chair, right? Well, it's just a guy with a mind, right? I'm a guy with a mind, okay? And there is something so rotten in this country that it needs to get dealt with, okay? It's not just a me issue. This is something that affects everyone in this country, because the level of criminality that we're seeing from the Canadian government is inexcusable. Inexcusable. And so if you're a good person and you're on that side of the street, you need to start doing your job, because you're not doing your job. And that's the bottom line.